Chelsea is loving, loyal, caring, generous beyond measure, and really funny, just to name a few things.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered in this beautiful venue to join this man and this woman in holy matrimony.
Marriage is hard work. The first time I met Garrett, I knew he was a hardworking man, full of love and authenticity. Garrett has always been there for us and asked for nothing in return.
God created marriage. God defined marriage. It's a covenant between a man and a woman and God. And you two are about to undertake some of the most difficult work that each of you will be involved in during your life. That's a successful marriage. And it'll be work that you will devote yourselves to, a work that affects not just you, but people around you. And it should be your path, successive generations. And it'll be a wonderful thing that you're undertaking today. You'll also be part of a covenant design that has the possibility of speaking to the whole world about God and about His Son. And the way you live your lives will speak to those around you who watch you and see you, and you'll be able to impart some understanding of Christ's devotion to His own church and how you proceed through your married lives. You will love each other, you'll serve each other, you'll devote yourselves to each other and honor each other, and you'll also serve God first and foremost. Hitherto, you successfully live separate lives, but you no longer walk apart like you have before. Some of your independence, some of it, is now given over to the effort of being husband-wife, wife and husband, the two being one, and with the distinctive roles that God created and designed early on, Genesis 2, very early. So Garrett, you're the leader of this Christian family. You answer to God. You are to love Chelsea as Christ loved the church. He gave his life for the church. You help her and your family to fully succeed in their Christian lives, being wholly acceptable to God. Chelsea, you also answer to God. You're to help Garrett achieve his fullest potential as he serves God, and help and teach your family to do likewise, and develop and realize all of your talent and ability as you go along. Now I understand that you have things that you have written that you'd like to say to each other. I want to know who would like to start and who would like to have the last word. Garrett will go first.
Chelsea, I never could have imagined standing here and getting married until I met you. You quickly captured my heart, and I've never looked back. You're the friend and partner I've always hoped for. Your dad told me that I could marry you on 2 conditions. 1, that I would always take care of you. And 2, that I would continue to grow on my path to God and become a leader in church. I fully believe God brought us together, and God brought you into my life to bring me back to Him and to spread His word. I told your dad I will promise to lead us, and Lord willing, our future family, and first by faith, then by love. Can't wait to spend every single day with you for the rest of my life. I love you. P.S. I love you again.
Garrett, as you are keenly aware, I tend to be a bit of a planner, and dare I say, even control freak. It was in my life plans to go to school, get a great education, wonderful job, and then find the one for me and begin a life together. This first part came true. However, as I reached 25, 30, and 35, without that last plan coming to realization, I began to question if finding a husband was actually in God's plans for me. Dating was a rough road, with several gentlemen left chopped off at the knees, and me feeling unsure what my future would be. I went through several stages not knowing exactly what or even how to pray for what I desired. I wanted God to bring me the perfect person, but I wanted him bundle wrapped in a bow with a sign from God saying this is the one. When that never happened, I began to think about the story in the Old Testament when Abraham's servant prayed for God to show him who would be the wife of Isaac, and before he even finished his very specific prayer, Rebekah showed up at the well. God had put all things into motion before the prayer was even said. With this in mind, early October 2021, I began praying that God would bring me the person he had been preparing for me and me for them. You first reached out to me on your birthday, October 30th, 2021. Garrett Scott Brammer, I know without a doubt, you are the one that God has been preparing for me and preparing me for you. You are the most kind, genuine, weird, supportive, loving, funny, HT, smart, patient, caring, and overall amazing person. You are the perfect complement to me in every way, and I am so thankful I did not chop you off at the knees the first time you didn't call me, because I don't know where I would be right now without you. The traditional wedding vows promise to love and care for one another through better or worse, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. Well, in 1 year of knowing you, you have already stood by me during sickness and the worst time of life I've known yet. I am deeply grieved Dad is not able to be here with us today. I promised him I would not let sadness overcast this day, and I know, based on the blessing he gave you in his last days when you asked him permission to marry me, that he would be so incredibly happy for us and proud of the wonderful Christian man that you are. Since you have already demonstrated all the traditional marital vows before you were ever stuck, I know, without a doubt, you will continue to be by my side through whatever may come. So today, as I take you to be my husband, my faithful partner, and my one true love, I promise to love you as you are now and as you grow into all that God intends. I promise to encourage you and love you when our lives are at peace and when they're in turmoil, when I'm proud of you and when I'm frustrated with you. Your joys are my joys, your sadness, my sadness, your dreams, my dreams. And I promise to be by your side through all of it. I promise to pray for you and with you every day. And I'll be there to laugh with you, cry with you, and to walk with you through whatever God brings our way. I like you, I love you, and I cannot wait for the rest of our lives to begin.
Since your desire to become husband and wife has been made plain, I still want to hear you say those vows. So if you would answer, I do, when I indicate, Garrett, you take Chelsea to be your wife. You promise to love her, to take care of her in sickness and in health, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. You promise to be faithful to her and consider her wishes. You promise to live with her until death separates you.
I do.
Chelsea, you take Garrett to be your husband. You promise to love him, to take care of him in sickness and in health, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. You promise to be faithful to him and to consider his wishes. You promise to live with him until death separates you.
I do.
What token do you each give as a symbol of this pledge? Hold those for just a minute.
Holding.
Together. This ring I give you,
This ring I give you
in token and pledge
in token and pledge
of my constant faith,
of my constant faith
my abiding love.
and my abiding love.
With this ring,
With this ring
I thee wed,
I thee wed,
and with all of my earthly possessions,
and with all of my earthly possessions,
I endow you.
I endow you.
Place the rings on each other's finger. Ring is an unbroken circle symbolizing not only your love, but the value of your love before your Heavenly Father. Since you've each declared your desire to be husband and wife, according to God's will, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
As it turned out, Garrett was exactly who she had been searching for all along. That being said, Garrett was an answer to my prayers. He sees and values all the good in Chelsea and wants to take care of Chelsea and make her happy. He immediately dropped everything and was there for her and our entire family during the worst time in our life. I am so grateful that Chelsea was patient because God had Garrett picked out all along. I love you both very much and could not be happier for you.
Chelsea, congrats on your big day. You look beautiful. Everything happened like it was supposed to. The way Garrett looks at you and talks about you is also amazing. You don't always get that. So to the bride and groom, here's to hard work, love, respect for each other. Saddle up and enjoy the trail ride of life together. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you bridesmaid and groomsmen, Tori Archuleta and Brian King. Ladies and gentlemen, your nation of honor, your best man, Caitlin Toussaint and Corey Lockheed. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have you please stand for your bride and groom, Chelsea and Garrett.
Who is the better driver? Another easy one. There it is, Gary.